Okay. I wasn't actually gonna, I thought I might skip today for some reason because there's been so much going on, and preparation being made by me to go back to Boston, Quincy, for Dove's big party. So, but I do find myself free here for a few moments. And when I read the lesson and saw the number that was given to this lesson, there was no way in the world I was not going to take a look at this. Lesson 333. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here. The idea of 333, when I look at that number, is the idea of the alignment of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in the single Trinity. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. And it would be 333 is what oneness is. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here. This is a great lesson when you read it exactly the way it is. Okay? And you compare people who are doing this conceptually and trying to get the concepts right rather than looking directly at what's being asked to be looked at for the reason that it's being asked to be looked at, so as to have forgiveness and the dream of conflict here. And as I was reading this and thinking back, I really love the Bible. That might be a fun thing to do. Somebody was asking me about at the end of these lessons, and I have 365 of them, and we're on number 333. At the end of these lessons, somebody asked me if I would continue to do something like this. And the truth is, there's many things that have been given to me from the guidance that I've received that makes perfect sense to me. And then when I have the understanding, I can look out at the dream and not be confused as to what's going on, because you come to understand the working of the egoic mind by looking at the working of your own egoic mind, seeing how it's generalized, recognizing the generalization everywhere, and seeing what the egoic mind is preventing us from experiencing in our heart and mind as it drives us to attempt to solve problems outside of ourselves where no solution can be found. And for many people, this is, in the sense they call it the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It's the age of Aquarius where the crown chakra of humanity opens up and is available to the light of God as a species, let's call it, as man and mankind. The age of Aquarius is when the crown chakra, which is above our crown, there's a broader crown. And when that broader crown is open, your crown and the broader crown become a single crown that you take on, in a sense, saviorship of the world. Now, don't think that that means more than it does. You become responsible for the fact that it's your dream and it's your world. And the light that you begin to experience within yourself through the process of forgiveness begins to extend out and have an activity in the world. Okay? Now, the continued willingness and the continued willingness, consistency to be responsible, no matter where you're seeing this, because now you're stepped back and you're not your concepts, you're not the conflict. Yet, as this says, the conflict must be resolved. It can't be evaded, set aside, denied, disguised, seen somewhere else, called by another name, nor hidden by deceit of any kind, if it would be escaped. Okay. This is where I always ask people questions. Tell me a thought that's outside of your mind. Tell me something that's going on in your sort of whatever it is, in your conscious, in what you're conscious of. Tell me something that isn't happening to you in your mind. In other words, give me a thought that's not yours. And you can't do that because every time you think one, it's yours, no matter what it is, and because it is, the world is your thought, and we've been afraid of our thought. Now, the conflict that we have within inside of us, due to the nature of the split in our mind, that's what produces the conflict, and that's what the unconscious, that's what is we keep in our unconscious, where we are not aware of it. The ego keeps us functioning up here, thinking that being aware of what it's bringing to our attention in the world is the way we're going to control it and make a space that's safe for ourselves, wherein which we can thrive and be happy, by excluding as much as possible from invading our privacy and not taking too much of, not taking more than we're willing to give of whatever it is we've composed ourselves of. Okay? It can't be invaded. It must be seen. This is a great lesson because this is the necessity for required. It must be seen exactly as it is, where it is thought to be. So if I'm seeing conflict, I really do think I'm seeing conflict in San Bernardino County, California. Okay? I really do see, I'm seeing conflict on TV. People are shooting each other. There's crazy stuff going on in this world, and I'm seeing that conflict, okay? I must admit that I'm seeing it there. And the reality which has been given it, okay? The reality which has been given is we're giving this conflict the ability to control us, how we live, and who, in a sense, we judge as keeping us from having the living in the safety that we desire, where we desire safety. Okay? But now look at that. Everything that we're seeing, and even in the vocabulary that we're using, indicates that there's something inside of us, in me, I'm not okay with. I'm looking at it out there, but something's out of whack within me. That's good for us to see and to admit. We know it because we don't like what we're seeing. We don't like kids getting shot. I don't like, the truth of the matter is, I don't like the conflict between any brothers anywhere. I don't like the fact that the police don't trust people they're supposed to be policing, and the people that are policing don't trust the police, and nowhere does it see anywhere where any side is willing to give up, in a sense, enough space for a dialogue to be open that doesn't want to assert blame in order to establish condemnation and punishment. I don't like operating in a system that is like that. Okay? I see it everywhere, and it doesn't help me. It doesn't afford me the peace I want, and I don't know how to do it. Okay? Now, in the course of my day, when I run into situations that begin to mirror that, I got to look at what's going on and recognize that each and every person is no different than I am, in the fact that when I'm looking at them through the eyes that think that that type of conflict has a reality and has the ability to mess with me and possibly engulf me ends one way or the other, invade the immediacy of my life every day. Okay? Now, how do I solve that problem? It's too big on a grand scale, yet I can see the problem, how it operates in me. I can see how, because I can see how it's operating in the world. And what the world is mirroring is how these ideas are operating in me. Now, in each and every one of the dealings that I am given to be in each and every day, when I begin to recognize the energetic overlay of that situation in my life, in a sort of in whatever's going on, I can see now I'm responsible right here and right now for allowing to find a solution through forgiveness that will end that conflict in me and free my brother from the tension I'm laying upon him and the role he has to play in this drama of conflict, wherein which there's never been a winner, never will be a winner in the way we're attempting to solve it, and all we're seeing is replication, and fragmentation. Because we refuse to go to the root of the problem within ourselves. The conflict and the tension that we exhibit in our system, we also project onto the world, and that is the world. Jesus said to Helen one time, "A situation is composed of the thoughts of many, not all of whom are pure of heart yet." And all thought has energy and power. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter whose thought it is. It matters that you become responsible for your own thinking when the awareness of conflict is brought to your attention. And instead of doing something that we've done in the past, which would propagate the future, what we do is look within, see, oh, here's that problem again, ask for help, and allow, as one of the threes, the Son, we allow one of the other threes, the Holy Spirit, and join with that, and we're illuminated by the light of God and a solution not of this world that already is contained with each and every one of us as the totality of good that we are, represented in, let's call it, the single nature of the Holy Spirit, to represent the totality of the nature of all the sons of God in reality in a single aggregate of light, wherein which we're all connected through threads of light, great rays. You want to talk about that in a sense. Okay? Then at least when we admit to what we're afraid of, bring the thoughts to the altar, to the Holy Spirit. Give him anything. He'll help you see through anything. And the more you give him, the more thoughts you bring to the Holy Spirit, the more you utilize the conflict that you experience in your own heart and mind within the world of space and time to the Holy Spirit, rather than to attempt to deal with it outside. The peace of God will descend upon you from the joining. You will trust in the outcome of the joining in the peace of God, become more and more aware of guidance within each and every situation, and begin to operate by the laws of God, where you'll see an equanimity in the entirety of the situation, where there aren't sides being taken, but brothers calling for love, for a single answer, no matter how radical it seems to look, or no matter how mundane and normal you think it looks. Yes, it's okay to talk about things exactly the way they are. And this is what Jesus said, with the recognition that it's not that that's hurting you. It's your relationship to yourself within your own mind and your relationship to your brother that's being projected from your mind onto him, and we're getting mirrored in the fragmentation and the imagery that we're experiencing, okay? Only forgiveness can end the dream of conflict here, because only forgiveness is the opening of our mind to the light of peace of God, the Holy Spirit, and the dawning of the experience of the peace of God that passes the ego's ability to understand, especially in the world of conflict. Now, through the miracle, this can be a contagion. But we need to begin individually to take back the responsibility at the point where we're experiencing the conflict not judge our brothers for what their reaction to whatever conflict you're perceiving they're participating in, because you don't know what's really going on in their mind. And as we withdraw, as Jesus says, as we if in a situation, the situation is composed of the thoughts of many, not all of whom are pure of heart. And in that, there's the tension and the conflict that seems to be the world of space and time. As each and every one of us begin to participate in situations wherein we're not utilizing the lack of coherence and cohesion within a vibratory frequency of harmony, wherein which all can participate, we can change our mind and allow ourselves to know that there's a better way and let it develop, not by adding to the disharmony, but by allowing the harmony to be enjoined by brothers within the range and frequency that they are. Okay, like you can stand there and become the vortex for peace in a situation by standing above the battleground, but by also recognizing that you're the entirety of the battleground. There's no need to judge anything. Just allow the situation. Join with the Holy Spirit. Let the answer imbue you. Let your actions come. Miraculous action flows from miraculous experiences. Miracles induce action. Induce. So the action that is induced by the miracle is not a reaction to something that's going on in space and time. Okay? It's a remembrance to not react, wait for a moment, join with your brother, ask for help, see what's brought to you by the light, and then utilize the light and the understanding that comes to be in the situation in a new way. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the healers. Okay, by any name, it's the same. You learn through the recognition of a vibratory frequency of energy. The divine light within yourself has the ability to affect others when you're not attempting to judge them or condemn them or change them. You're willing to accept them as they are, take the tension out of the relationship, give them a moment's respite so perhaps they can have an experience of light as well. And recognize who they are. Father, forgiveness is the light you chose to shine away all conflict and all doubt, and light the way for our return to you. No light but this can end our evil dreams. No light but this can save the world. For this alone will never fail in anything, being your gift to your beloved Son. Now, the problem that I run into with people who claim to be Course in Miracles students is that they say they forgive, but they didn't, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Jesus says forgive, 99 forgives over and over again, okay? When there's a true action of forgiveness, there's an experience. If there's not an experience of light that resolves the conflict that you bring, that you're requesting forgiveness for, and it's just merely a conceptual rearrangement of the deck chairs on the Titanic within your life, okay, that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is an action of mind wherein which you allow the light of the Holy Spirit to begin to inform you of the truth of who you are in the recognition of the unreality of the situation, and you free your brother from responsibility and blame for your experience of yourself here in space and time, recognizing that you're doing this to yourself, and now you've discovered salvation, and you're willing to begin to use it over and over again because it's what frees you. It does not bind you because it ends the conflict in your mind and therefore gives you a different perspective everywhere you go. This is lesson 333. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here, where it's needed to end.